Hey y'all, it's time for some damn good content. I'm Shelby Clement, your host and business bestie. I'm a content creator, social media manager and coach, keynote speaker, wife, and a mama of two who ditched her 9-to-5 to build a thriving multi-six-figure business solely using social media. Just like you, I'm a working mom and a wife with limited time. So I'm committed to cutting the fluff and delivering tips and fresh ideas straight to your earbuds on how you too can harness damn good content and create that type of business that you love and are proud of. Each week, we'll deep dive into strategy and mindset of building your brand on social media so that your confidence and success in the online space can skyrocket. Get ready to step outside of your comfort zone and start creating some damn good content. Are you ready? Let's freaking get it. Hey guys, welcome back to Damn Good Content Podcast. I'm your host, Shelby Clement, and I have one of my best gal pals, Haley Ingram here, the owner and creator of Coffee and Contracts, a freaking trailblazer in the online space, and we just have her here. We're going to ask her all the good questions, the bad questions, everything. I am so freaking excited to have you here. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, I feel like, so everybody just true transparency, especially with technology. We tried to record, I think, like 2 months ago? I don't know, a month ago? I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah.
It was right after because we're in the Jasmine Star Mastermind together. And so it was right after that. And she was going to launch like soon. And my producer was like, wait, it didn't save. And I was like, cool. So
It was
I was
a
like,
sign.
hey,
We needed to redo it.
It wasn't that good. I mean, it was a good conversation, but I want you to take a second. My community may or may not know you. I mean, you are kind of well known online. So can you give us a little bit about who you are? What do you do? Like, give us a little bit of a lowdown.
Yeah. So where do I begin? I own a website called Coffee and Contracts, which is a online marketing subscription for real estate agents. So they subscribe and they get access to templates for social media, content calendar, and just all the tools and trainings they need to grow online. And this all started because I was a real estate agent about, I guess I was like 4 years ago now, because I started Coffee and Contracts 4 years ago. I was a struggling real estate agent, but I found that Instagram was working a lot better than door knocking and cold calling. So now I try to show other agents how to do what I did and generate leads on Instagram. So that's kind of the skinny on
The little 411. Okay, wait, no, I want to
Yeah.
back up because I do remember when we did record the first time, you were talking about how you were a real estate agent and you thought it was going to be like an easy gig or whatever. But then
Yeah.
you turned to Instagram, but then other real estate agents were asking you to help on their Instagram. And so this is kind of like how Coffee and Contracts was born. So give us a little bit of a story there of where like you thought you were going to do one thing and then it turned into something completely different.
Yeah, so I was in college at UCF in Orlando, and I got a marketing internship at a brokerage. So this is like kind of rewinding like 2 years before I started Coffee and Contracts. I got a marketing internship at a real estate brokerage. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life at all in college. I felt so lost. But once I started at this brokerage, I was like, ooh, real estate seems really cool. I love houses. I love helping people. This is awesome. But it was like a small mom and pop type brokerage. So like it was just very small, like small community. And like the broker would like give you leads and like it was just super like a little different than what it really is. So after I got my real estate license, I moved to St. Pete and went to start a career in real estate. And it was definitely not what I expected. I worked with a brokerage that charged you monthly to be a part of the brokerage, and I didn't make any sales, so I was like losing money. I was working as like a bartender, but I like the brokerage kept telling me. They even like showed me this guy in his office just like making cold calls like nonstop all day, and she was like, I remember her saying like, you gotta be like him. You gotta call like 100 times a day, make 100 calls a day. And I was like, that works? I never answer the phone when someone calls me. Like, no. I tried to cold call once and it was so humiliating. And the lady was like, please do not call me again. And I was like, okay. And then I never called anyone
This
again.
is not my life. I can't do this.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, is this what life? This is also like my first job out of college. I'm like, life is hard. But so I just like grew up with, I mean, like I got Instagram when it first came out when I was in high school, and it
Yeah.
was like, it's obviously changed so much since then, but I've always been super comfortable with it. And I was like, I feel like I could just reach people on Instagram. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's where everyone is. Like,
Right, right.
so I just started an Instagram account and started posting, promoting. Basically, my like target was at first time home buyers. So, because I was young, like these are the kind of people that are probably gonna like trust me. You know, and I'm not gonna
Yeah.
target like luxury people selling their homes. So I just would like go preview listings and like that it was like a great fit for a first time home buyer. I started generating leads on Instagram and just like growing my business through that. But around that time, that's when the other agents started reaching out and they saw like the success that I was having from it. So they wanted me to help them
Yeah.
manage their social media.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, that's kind of when social media management, I mean, this was like in 2018, 2019,
Okay.
maybe. So social media management was kind of like new on the
New.
scene. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't very like, or at least I wasn't um, aware of it as much, you know, because I wasn't
Yeah.
like in it.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I guess I can do that. Try to like figure out how much to price it, but I needed the income because I still wasn't like selling enough to live off of it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, long story short, started managing social media. I met a personal trainer. I think I told you about this,
Yeah.
who she was telling me she took her one on one clients and she turned it into like a subscription where they
Right.
get a weekly workout and a Facebook group. So it kind of like clicked for me then. And I was like, oh, I feel like I would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Um, I would, yeah. I like I liked social media management, but I think I like just creating content more and
Yeah.
like it all started because I love Canva and designing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I mean, then I could do more just like designing and Canva, you know,
Yeah.
and less like one-on-one type stuff. So yeah, that was in 2019, and now after like 2 months of coffee and contracts, I was able to quit everything else and just do coffee and contracts full time.
And didn't
So
you, I
yeah.
want to back up because I feel like I remember you telling me this, but didn't you record yourself? Did you,
Oh
or did you
yeah.
say you wish you would have? I can't remember if you did or you
No, I
said you wish
did.
you
I
would.
actually posted it on my story on coffee and contracts today.
Shut up. I was just, well,
Yeah.
how? Oh, you knew I was going to say that. I'm kidding.
I know, but I did like a little Q&A poll or whatever question sticker thing, and
Yeah.
someone like asked something about basically like how long did it take to the video I recorded was me just like leaving from quitting my, so I did tell you last time too. The story always gets like super complicated, but basically I also was looking for regular full-time jobs because I was just about to like give up on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And I got a job at like a doctor's office
Yes. Yeah.
and
I remember this now.
and
Okay.
but the video is me like in my scrubs because they made me wear scrubs, and I have no health background or anything. I just had to wear scrubs. I don't know why. It was really comfortable though, so I wasn't that bad. But it was me and my scrubs, and I was like, just put my scrubs on for the last time. I just quit my job. Like, I'm super excited, but I hope that it still grows. So yeah, it's cool to look back at
Yeah.
that.
And well, a lot of times too, when I talk to people, they're just like, when they see like super successful people or they look at coffee and contracts and what do you have, like 52,000 followers now? I don't know. How many do you have?
Yeah, something like that.
And they're like, oh my God, I want to be like her. And like, we all have these conversations where I want to grow, I want to grow, I want to grow, but you didn't just
Mhm.
start this. Like,
Yeah.
it's been years in the making. You've been doing what you were supposed to do. It has grown over the years. So, like, people forget that glimpse when they just see the success of someone. And so,
Mhm.
you recording yourself is actually gold. And then you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna record it. But now you're probably like, I'm so glad I recorded that so I can at
Yeah.
least share with people. So when I tell people like, please just record your early days or like the
Mhm.
hard days, the good days, like record every single thing, even if you don't want to share it right now, but 5-year you or even 2-year
Yeah.
you is going to be wishing that you had that video of where you started.
Exactly. I'm so happy that I did that. And it was in a locked photo vault in my phone. So like
Shut
it was
up.
very, very private. It was like a journal entry to myself.
Oh.
So then like I would never expect myself to share it. And it took me so long. But that's also like what you're just saying about like long it takes to start. I was thinking about that recently because someone said it took you only 2 months to like quit your job, and I was like, well, it wasn't like I feel like I was trying to do something for so long. Like it was like I was selling templates on Etsy,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried other things like creating products for real estate agents with like designs that I made, and that didn't work out. Like so many things didn't work out
Mm-hmm.
first, and then copying contracts happened. So it's not like it was just like I was like,
It was
what
like
should I do?
everything led you to that point. And I think that's
Yeah, it
what
was like I
people,
was
yeah,
failed like a million times with a million other things. It just like I didn't fail at this one particular thing,
right.
you
Well,
know?
because
I mean, I
everything that
failed a
you,
bunch of times in it. Yeah.
yeah, everything that you were doing was molding you to this moment. So it was like you did
Hmm.
fail, but the key component is you got up and you just kept going because you were like, I don't want to just necessarily, I'm not going to obviously win in this game because we've seen it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be
Mhm.
a successful real estate agent. I love what I do now. And now you're like stupid successful. And you have how many members do you currently have in coffee and contracts?
We have like 6,000 right now.
6,000. And the doors are shut.
Mhm. Yeah, we
Correct.
just shut them for the first time.
Okay. When are you planning to open them again?
Around September, probably.
Okay, cool.
September, October.
Can you give us a
Yeah, we're
sneak peek
doing
of what's in store? Or not a
yeah, we're
sneak peek, but
doing
like tell me a little.
a little peek.
Yeah.
So we're working on like a rebrand and new website, potentially like new products too.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying. I'm like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of like solutions that I'm trying to bring. One of them is like one of our like biggest complaints is obviously it's templates that's provided to 6,000 agents. So there a lot of them are going to have similar content.
Yeah.
And we give them like the trainings and everything on like how to customize it, how to create like a brand kit for yourself, how to put things into ChatGPT and make it unique. But so one of our goals is to just like have some sort of like AI integration in our website so that people can create custom content.
Everything in there. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I still love the Canva designs part. So definitely want to still have that and just have more like trainings and stuff on how to customize it.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little more help like with agents that just don't have the time to do that. So trying to figure out a solution there for getting it like scheduled and customized and everything for the agents. So that's all I'm working on all that right now. So I'm super excited. Hopefully it's going to be amazing. I hope the website's going to be like just top notch, amazing
Yeah.
user experience. That's the goal.
So let's talk a little bit about the growing pains of like what it was. So you were basically the same for 4 years, correct? Like you offered the
Hmm.
same things. You updated like the templates, obviously. You had the training, you had the coaching, correct? All of that.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
now you're like, I see more of the problem that I want to provide a solution for. How hard was it for you to like shut the doors? Like how hard were you like hard stop, no more members right now?
Mm,
Was it even a second thought?
it wasn't too hard. Because I feel like I don't know. Nothing is like permanent. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, if I don't like this, then I can just like change my mind and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like, have some sort of reason why. But it's just so not permanent. It was as easy as like changing a website page.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
um,
what are the hard like I guess the growing pains of like now are you scared at any point that like all this investing that you're like I wanted that transparency for you of like this is your baby that you're now changing and you're hoping and
mhm,
praying I'm putting all this money in it, I'm investing in this, and I'm really hoping that people will take to it and love it. So what are your thoughts
yeah,
like through this whole process?
it's so scary and so confusing and stressful. I feel like my mind gets like it's like a beehive sometimes, where I just think like, okay, we're building this website, like I have the developer, but then it's like, yeah, those questions come like, are some of our members love what we currently have? and those problems, like, they don't bother them. And part of like how I feel is like we've always been like, we don't want to like just provide people with like, filler templates that like aren't going to get them any results. So like we have to constantly change with the algorithm, which is like
Yeah.
super, hard to keep up with. And with that is like templates aren't doing as well as they once did. So it's like, how do we like still provide value to our members that may not look like this anymore? And it's really scary to like think about changing things on people that they already love the way that things are. I'm worried that people will hate it and leave and be mad anytime we like make changes, even if they're like, I know that they're for the best. We always have at least one person that's mad about it and
Yeah.
complaining because they don't like, logging into something they're used to seeing and it looks a little different.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like people pleasing comes into it. I'm like, I want to please everyone, but you kind of have to realize that like not everyone is your ideal client, and
Right.
not everyone is like is gonna it's not the best fit for everyone, and that's just the way
Right.
it is. I can't help every single real
Person,
estate agent.
individual. Well, if that was
Yeah.
the case, then you would be a social media manager at this point and then just do it for them. Or you are completely right. In any instance of what you do in business, you can't just satisfy those one-offs. Like you have to do majority.
Hmm.
And then those one-offs just aren't for you. Then they got to go find something else that fits them. And that's just not what you're
Hmm.
molding to. That's just like a
Yeah.
hard thing to swallow because I am a people pleaser. So I get that
It
aspect.
really is. I feel like it's taken me so long to even like have the thought of like, oh, like because I'm just like picturing in my mind people that message us and they're like, you know, but does it have this, or like is, and then I'm like, no, but here's why, and here's why you shouldn't want that, and then I'm like, wait, no, just say no, we're not the best fit for you, and let them like
Yes.
do
Let them
their
find something
thing.
else. Like, because that's just
Yeah,
those people right there, they're just big eye rolls to me because
yeah.
you can't please everyone. And that's just the thing with business
Hmm.
is you have to figure out how to really balance that mindset of you're going to piss some people off or they're not going to like what you're doing and they're going to tell you and they're going to voice it. And you just have to say, well, okay,
Hmm.
thank you. Like, I hope you find what you're looking for, I guess. I don't really know how to put
Yeah,
it, but
it's so hard. And I have we have like our support inbox, and then I have some people that help manage it, but I still like I check it like constantly,
yeah.
just and sometimes I'll see things and I'm like, I shouldn't look at this so much because I take it so personally.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
hard
like,
not to, because there's people that say business
mhm,
isn't personal and personal isn't business. Like, it's just but it's a
it
fine
is.
line. It is, especially when you are working so close to people that I find everything with business now is way more personable than it used to be. I don't know.
Mhm.
But again, I'm only a 2.5-year-old entrepreneur, so I
Well, it's something that you built, like,
Yes.
personally. Like, it
Yes.
wasn't, or for at least for most people. Like, I think there's, like, big businesses that were very strategically funded and brought a team together, and I feel like maybe that's not as personal, but when it's, like, a small business owner where
And
someone
you
just,
start
like,
it. Yeah.
randomly started a fun little side project that was, like, their passion and they loved it, like,
Yeah.
then it's super personal. I was just talking about how I feel like one thing that I've been kind of realizing too, and I don't know if this is like a hot take or if this is just uh, common knowledge, but like I've
Yeah.
been kind of realizing like how much your business growth and personal growth are like the same. Like, especially looking back 4 years ago at that video of little Haley, and the
Yes.
business has grown so much since then, but like, and matured, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
in so many ways. And I feel like, I don't know. I just like kind of realized the other day, I'm like, it's so cool because like as the business grows, I grow, and like, and the business will help me like with my own personal growth because I'm like realizing certain things about myself. And I mean, I guess that's just life. Like, it's anyone's like job, but
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Well, it's just harder to understand that too when you're first starting. Like you grow with it, like you as the person
Hmm.
that's running it. So like that makes complete sense because your growth is your business's growth and vice versa because you are
Hmm.
experiencing these things in order to get stronger because if I look back too, I cringe and I'm like, what? Like how am I supposed to be running a business? But then there's also days where like recently I used to hate tooting my own horn and saying like, "Oh, you're doing this." And like lately it's like,
Hmm.
"Wait, And then I sit back and I think like all the accomplishments. So like all the accomplishments that you've achieved from when you failed at real estate, or not necessarily failed, it just wasn't your jam. And then the
Mhm.
doctor's office, that wasn't your jam. And then you found it. You found your market, and then you just attacked like what you were supposed to do
Mhm.
when it's there. And so
Yeah.
all the accomplishments that you've achieved, but those experiences have built you to who you are today, and stronger
Mhm.
how you are and how you approach certain things. And you probably have gotten better of answering those people that are like, no, I think you should do it this way, where little Haley was probably like, okay, and now you're like, no, we're not doing that, thank you, I'll come again. But like, it's
Mhm.
just like how you change as you grow up too. And I don't know, it's tough to own a business in general because it's just a mind game. And so like with you, I want to get some feedback from you on how do you deal with like the ebbs and flows of like thinking, oh shit, this could fail, or oh my god, look at me, like what I've built, I'm so proud of how far I've come. Like you
Mhm.
know how those days are, I don't know if you have those, I have those where they're so extreme, where it's like, holy crap, I'm so proud of myself, or like, what the hell am I doing? Like,
Yeah,
what
all
if
the
this
time.
fails tomorrow? Like, so what is your jam, or like what do you do, or you've known to do mentally, or is there an activity you do? Do you step away, like to get you back into the good mindset versus like turning
Mhm.
off the bad?
Yeah. I feel like I have a lot of anxiety as it is. Like I've
Mhm.
always had anxiety.
Mhm.
Um and so I've always found that like at night for me is when all of the anxieties tend to come out, like when you're laying in bed and you finally have like a moment of silence where you're not distracted by your phone or distracted by anything. All of a sudden my mind is like, "Oh my god, what if your business falls apart tomorrow? What if like you
Yeah.
lose everything?
Yes.
What if it's like what if, what if real estate agents, like what if the real estate industry like collapses, just all this crazy stuff.
Like literally the
um
most crazy scenarios in your head at one time.
I know, and like just so many bad thoughts will come.
Right.
So I feel like it all goes back to like, I mean, just things that I've learned for anxiety in general, because obviously it's just like nothing. I'm worrying about things that haven't happened yet, and
Yeah.
it's not reality. So you
Right.
kind of have to like, take deep breaths, like the typical ways to like, calm your nervous system and stuff. Um, and but it is hard for me, I think, to reflect on like it just gets hard when you're in the moment every day and you're always looking to what's next. It's hard to like reflect on where you've came.
Yeah.
And like, because looking back at that video, in the video, I think I cut this part out of what I posted, but I was like, I am at 200 members. My goal right now is 250. But like, if I just remember thinking, like, if I could ever get to 500, like, my life is complete. My life is like literally complete.
And now you
And
have
you don't have,
6,000. Like,
and
what?
now it's like, and then I got 500, and then I was like, okay, 1,000. And then so it's like you're constantly like,
Please
what's
tell me
next?
you've
What's next?
documented each one, or like at least right now. Like, did you document the day you closed your doors? Are you documenting this process? I know you've talked about like certain things that you want to do to start journaling, but like,
Hmm.
have you documented right now? Like, how do you feel? Please say yes. And if you don't, I might come over there and strangle you because you're going to want this.
Yeah, not as much as I should. I mean, I would say like maybe in journaling and stuff.
Well, that's
But
okay. That could be a really cool way to
yeah.
like record a voiceover and like launch it. Like on,
Hmm.
in March of 2023, I had the thought of closing the doors and this is how I felt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you could
that's a
just
good
read from
idea.
your journal. Like that would be legit because it's like I don't know. I'm just like such a huge advocate for video, and I wish I would have done it more like talking to the camera for me purpose. Like when I left corporate, like I remember the feeling, but like that day, kind of like I
Hmm.
did the mashup video of when I launched the podcast. Like I recorded the night before I launched to the world, and I was so nervous and freaking out. And then I videoed myself the day it
Mm.
launched, and it was me crying. So like at least I was like, why haven't I done this for like everything
That's
that I've wanted to
genius. It
do?
really is. I saw this girl on TikTok. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's the coolest thing ever. She records a video of herself asking her future self question. She's
Mm.
like, "Hey, Haley, this is Haley. Like, how are you, girl?" And then like she's like, "So what happened? Like, did you ever move?" And then like
Shut
she's
up.
like,
That's
"Are you
so
still?"
cool.
Isn't that? And she's like, "Are you still with that guy?" and then but then she like combines them on TikTok. So then it's like her talking to herself. So she shows you, she like
Oh, that's
responds
really
and she's like,
cool.
yeah, we did move. It's so awesome. And she's like, no, we don't talk to that guy anymore. And I love that. So I did record something like that like a while ago. I'll need to do a follow up on it.
Oh,
But it
so
looks like
cool.
just a fun, like, I don't know. It's so cool how I feel like I'm starting to realize too, like with the whole journaling and how I said like personal and business growth are like kind of in this one and the same. It's like it all is kind of like can be used as like content too. Like
Yes,
it's
everything
like,
is
and
content.
it's just so interesting. I don't know. It's like
Well,
I've been on a like tangent about that. Like or I've been like just thinking about that a lot lately.
Well, it is cool because
Yeah.
there also are people like I had a conversation with someone this week, and I guess I don't look at myself as the people I look up to. Like I don't think about
Mhm.
like I could be that way to someone else, if that makes sense. Like I don't see myself as like someone to look up to. It's weird. I know.
Mhm.
It's a mindset thing. Well, the other day I was having a conversation with someone and they were like, "Well, you are the person that's inspiring me. Like if I could be you in 2 years, then like hands down I'm good." And she's like, "I love that you share the good, the bad, and everything as you build." And I think what people forget is they don't want to pull that curtain back. And so,
Yeah.
but that's what your consumer is really craving right now is what you're
Mhm.
saying. They're craving the journal of like, how did Haley get to 6,000 members? What was those early
Mhm.
years like? What were those late nights like? What was her thought process like? So, like, you journaling now when the doors are shut to like reopen them, like, when the doors actually open, you could go back and say, okay, July 13th of 2023 was a freaking hard day for me and this is what my thoughts were, but look at us now.
Mhm.
Like it's just
Yeah.
like I didn't think we'd actually get through this launch or I didn't think we'd actually make this dream come true and like now I'm sitting on the other side and I'm
Mhm.
like really glad I didn't give up. Like those
Yeah.
like little key components of content is like really good.
Mhm. Yeah, because then it's like if for that person that said that if in 2 years that they are like you, then you having a piece of content from yourself in their shoes 2 years ago is like would speak to them so well and like inspire them so well.
It
So that's so true.
it's just so crazy. So what is your take on pulling the curtain back and just like telling the world who you are. Like I know you wanted to start
Mhm.
your personal brand. I know it scares you a little bit. We did talk about this in the podcast. I guess like we'll talk about that cuz that podcast doesn't exist cuz it never actually recorded. But how you were going to start building your personal brand, how you are starting to build your personal brand, like what do you find that it's important especially in today's world of social media no matter what kind of business that you're in?
Mhm.
Showcasing who you are as a human, the person behind the brand or business. What is your
Yeah.
thoughts and takes on that?
Absolutely. I think it's like one of the most important things is showing who you truly are and pulling the curtain back. And I feel like a lot of people get a couple things come up with this topic. And like one of them is like, I think people think that like pulling the curtain back is like, let me reveal all my secrets to the internet.
Yes.
Like, and so it's like, no, you don't have to like,
You don't have to tell
you
everybody
know,
everything. Just
you
calm
don't have to
down.
give us like your medical records or anything.
Right.
Um,
Give me your
but
social, please, really
yeah, I
quick.
think like your mind automatically goes to like your biggest your biggest scariest thing that you're like not ready to reveal to the world and you don't know if you'll ever be. But
Right.
it's not like black and white like that. Like you don't have to do it to that extent and it doesn't have to be all at once either. It's not like you have to like make a video with a proclamation to the world of this
Yes.
is me. But I struggle with I like you how you said like I don't see myself as like a role model.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like I struggle with it because I have like maybe like some fears or limiting beliefs around I don't know. I think I'm like for what? Like I've always looked at I think I'm like, what do I have to offer? And I know
Right.
that I do have things to offer, and people like ask me questions that they want to learn about experiences that I've had. But I just like it's really big like imposter syndrome maybe where I'm just like I just don't like if they want to learn about this, there's plenty of other like creators that do that. Like who do I think I am? Also, like I'm like, are you like why do you want attention, like
Right.
there's a lot of like negative beliefs in my mind about wanting attention,
Yeah.
I think. And it's all kind of like around that. So like I am really good at Instagram, and I, grew coffee and contracts. And so sometimes I'm like, I should, be putting myself out there a little bit more for my personal brand on Instagram, because I want to like help people build an online business and help people to like not be struggling how I was trying to figure out what to do and nothing like fits, and figure out how to turn their passions into like something like I did.
Right.
But then I'm like, well, those are all my friends on like my on there, and like, and it would just be weird. And like I'm just like, well, I don't know. Like
As
I just
quick
get
as you talked
so,
yourself into doing it, you talked yourself out of doing it.
yeah, like, and that just is a constant battle in my brain. And it's so funny because if someone was coming to me and saying exactly what I'm saying to myself, then I'd be like, I know how to fix it instantly and just be like, no,
I
here's what
just
you need to do.
But the thing is too, it's really hard to do it for yourself. And I love that you shared that, because like a lot of people that see, okay, for example, like you, they're gonna be like, oh, it's so easy for her. When in reality, you're the exact same as any
Mhm.
other person. You just chasing your dreams, and you're not letting those negative thoughts really take you down. I mean, let me tell
Mhm.
you, the more you put yourself out there on social media in general, so this is like building a business online is completely different than building a business and a storefront, because like you now
Mhm.
are it's way more, it's way easier to compare, it's way easier to have people coming out of the woodworks to give you their opinions, it's way easier to pick yourself apart because you're in front of the camera, it's way easier to say, am I actually good at what I'm saying, or am I an imposter? And so
Mhm.
it's been like a huge mind struggle. So like us talking about this, like I had, my sister is now starting her Instagram. It's Our Home in the Pasture. And I was like, you have to mentally be prepared for what could come out of Instagram and just being online and what it could do to your mindset, because I don't remember myself being this negative in the sense of like I couldn't do something, if that makes sense. And like
Mhm.
I feel like it's just been heightened at this point. So I'm glad you shared that, to the point of like I have those same thoughts. There's weeks where I'm just like, I want to go hide in a hole. I could throw my phone in a dumpster and
Mhm.
walk away and be like, done, I'm burning this thing to the ground. And there's
Mhm.
days where I'm like, let's conquer the world. So like it's just
Yeah.
building your personal brand is exactly what Haley said. You don't have to show everything. Like I feel like I give a lot of about my life, but y'all don't know when I go on vacation. Like I don't post that week that I'm on vacation. Like I don't tell you where I'm
Mhm.
at. You'll never see the front of my house. You don't know where my kids go to school. Like you don't know those things unless you personally know me. And so when I tell people to get personal on social media, just like you said, like you don't have to give your social security number. Like you don't have to tell them everything. You just have to
Yeah.
give them something. Like Haley, for example, has a golden retriever and she loves
Mhm.
golden retrievers and that's her best friend. And so like
Mhm.
everybody knows she's relatable in the sense that she loves animals, she loves dogs. Like
Mhm.
those little things outside of what you offer to your consumer help you become more relatable. And so I
Mhm.
just don't think people understand that aspect of it, especially when I say just get more
Yeah.
personal.
And I think there's a lot of like, I think there's a lot of, I don't know. I just kind of thought of like the whole like influencer world. And I think a lot of it is like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm like trying to become an influencer
Yeah.
or something.
But
And
even
I
if you
know that's
are,
like,
it's okay.
I
Like
know, I
it's
know.
okay. I'm gonna tell you this, Haley. I don't think I've ever told you this, but like the moment I knew you were gonna be in Jasmine Star's mastermind, because a while ago it sucks to hear you say basically what I say. Like I don't see what it is that people look up to. I was like, holy shit, I get to meet the girl behind Coffee and Contracts. Like that's
Oh, that's
really
so
freaking cool.
cool.
So like you don't ever know. People are looking up to you. It's just the whole mental, like you. It's us. Like
Mhm.
we are the problem. It's me. I'm
Yeah.
the problem of
And
not
isn't it
accepting
funny
it.
too? Like I'll see, like I'm just thinking of like a few of my friends. I felt like this year was like a big year for people starting their businesses online, just
Yeah.
like in general, or just
Yeah.
like putting themselves out there a little more. Because I'm like thinking of a friend I have that like she was working in like the corporate world, and she just like got her personal training license and just started like posting workouts on Instagram. And it's so funny because like if I were to do that, I would be like so nervous, like, and judging myself and like questioning myself, like, I don't know, I would just
Yeah.
be like putting myself through it. But it's so funny because then when you're on social media and you like see that, you're just like, oh, cool, good for her. Like,
Like, I'm proud of them. They're finally chasing their
yeah.
dreams. I don't know, girl. You could do
It's
some workout videos. You posted the picture of you in your garage once, and I was like, dang, girl, look at you getting it. So, I mean,
so it's that's like another thing where I just have, I mean, I need to work on it in therapy, I guess, but like I just have like I'm like, who do you, why? Like, what do
who
you
do you
want from
think
it?
you
Like,
are doing
I'm like,
this?
you're doing fine with coffee and contracts. You just want attention. Like,
But that's
it's,
not it. I think though too, it's I'm telling you it's the mental game because like it's the same
hmm
thing. It's the same thing. I think we all struggle with that. It's like how do we move past that and showcase it? Because
hmm
I think if you showed people who Haley is, like they would love it. But it's got to be ultimately if like you want to. Cuz like if you feel like you're
yeah.
so consumed already with coffee and contracts and you just need a break, then meh. Start you already show your face on coffee and contracts, just get personal there. You don't
hmm
necessarily have to build your personal brand on another platform. You could
hmm
just cuz if you're just already so consumed, it's just like a double-edged sword in the sense of like you got to want to share that life, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too, is that I don't like, because I think about this a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is such a great, like, I mean, this is also like, being online and social media is like an amazing opportunity to like relate to so many people, like, and have a community of so many people where like, the time before social media, you wouldn't have that opportunity.
Right.
And also like as an online business owner working from home, we don't have a lot of like connection, and you're not meeting a lot of people through your job unless you're like showing up online.
Yeah.
And just like, so a lot of it is like, I'm like, well, you know what, life is like not even real, and we are all gonna like, I'm like, life isn't even real, like we're all gonna die someday, like who cares, like who really cares? So like why not just like post, whatever
Chase
you
your damn
want
dreams,
to
girl.
connect with people. But
Yes.
another like big part of it too is kind of like how we talked about like what if coffee contracts fell apart. A lot of it too is like I feel like there's kind of part of me like has wanted to do like, build a personal brand in another like kind of like safe, as like a safety mechanism, as kind
Yeah.
of having like equity, like in a way, like building your personal brand is kind of like having equity in like another, more opportunities.
Right.
And there's just so much like, and I tell agents, like our agents too, that like if I'm like looking for someone to feature, or like I feel like I wasn't like invited to go on podcasts or anything until I started like showing up. I think Jasmine said something about like showing up for your own stage, and then people will
Mhm.
invite you to their stages.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, there's just so many like thoughts that go into that. I think like a big thing for me too in the beginning, I was like, I'm gonna like post about my story, especially on coffee and contracts, because if I don't, then like I don't control the narrative, and like people are gonna say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like there was like a competitor that I think was like making people believe that I copied her or something. And I was like, if I don't share my story, then like, then it's just up I
Yeah.
don't know. So I was like, I'm just gonna share
Yeah.
my story. And yeah, I don't know.
I just
Food for thought.
it's just a crazy space out here online, guys. So if you
I
do
know.
it,
I'm like,
just
it gets
chase
so
your
deep.
but I will say this. I will say this, and I like sharing these things because it makes me feel like I'm not alone. Because I remember connecting with you after we had our even first call on Jasmine, and you, one of us said at first, I don't remember like how lonely it is when you build a business online. It really is exactly what you just said. Is we don't see people every day. If we don't like go out in the world and talk to people, like our people are our online people, and we love that. We thrive like that. I would have never met you because I would have
Mhm.
never got in Jasmine's mastermind. I would have never have the clients I have or the friends that I have if I didn't put myself out on social media. And so what people forget is that your fans or your new friends or the people that love you and support you and that will ride or die with you most likely will not be people in real life, only because these are other people coming out of the woodworks that want to be or they aspire to be someone like you. Like you're pushing them outside of
Mhm.
their comfort zone to chase their dreams. And sometimes too, what I've realized is like all the people that you think may have were going to support you don't support you, and the people that you didn't think were going to support you, and you're like, holy shit, what just
Yeah.
happened? I'm so confused. So it
100%.
like
That's so
brings
true.
all the real out when you start putting yourself out on social media because it is
Mhm.
scary. It is lonely,
Yeah.
but we do it anyway. And so
Mhm.
your market is real estate agents. And I want to like just shift it a little bit because I do have a lot I feel like where I'm at, there's so many real estate agents. And so I want to make sure that if they are listening to this podcast, they get a little bit of oomph out of it for like their social and stuff. So what are like your biggest questions, I guess you would get when it comes from a real estate agent? And then like what are some tips that you give them to get started on social? I'm curious to see if I'm telling them the right stuff. And then two, just to see what you say, because it could be just like a different perspective that they get to hear. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Um, so many questions that agents have. Like, I feel like I have a lot of like frequently asked questions. Like, one, for example, is should I have like I feel like this is like the biggest asked question. And I remember Googling this when I was an agent, so I always
Yeah.
talk about it. But
Yeah.
should I have one like it's mostly like for people that already have like a personal Instagram and then they get their real estate license and then they're like, should I create a new
Yes.
Instagram for
Okay.
my real estate business,
Yep.
or should I just start posting about real estate on my personal page? And I always say I highly recommend just posting about real estate on your personal page and growing like your personal brand
Yes.
because but see, isn't this funny? Because then it's like if it was me, I'd be like, I don't know.
It's completely different
but
what you do, I think.
but I think after this conversation, I'm gonna get over it. I think I'm like thinking about all that too much, not to get back into that, but you just gotta like put your head down, not care about it, just put stuff out
I
there.
remember saying this on the first episode, which I'm gonna say was 2 freaking months ago when we recorded that shit. And I remember you saying the same thing, and I was like, I'm gonna hold your butt accountable. And I saw
And I
you
was
do
like,
it, and
I'm
like, oh,
ready.
you're like, I'm gonna do it. And then you were like, nope. But you would be so good at it. Okay. I'm still cheering you on that aspect, but I'm really glad that we agree that it should be one because I think continue. Everybody knows what
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
so I'm gonna let you talk.
So I always say it should be one. You should make business more personal. So like rather than just sharing like just listed graphics and testimonials and whatnot, like and you don't want to post that to bore your current audience of family and friends. Make it personal. So like share a personal picture from closing day and like tell
Yes.
the story
Yep.
of how you met the client, like what obstacles did you overcome, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So you can even like, and sometimes people are like, well, I don't want to share my clients like that. And I don't want to like ask them to take a picture. It's like, okay, then just share the lessons that you learned from the transaction as an
Yes.
agent, like how it helped you grow. So I think it's like kind of taking everyone's like a lot of people in the real estate industry go, it's 70% personal, 30% business. Like they try to like say like certain percentages of what it should be. And I'm like, just make it, you and make business personal. So I wouldn't try to like break it down and be like, am I posting 70% of the time like
Yeah.
business and 30% of the time personal? So I think that is a big thing. And then another thing that kind of like goes into that a little bit is I feel like the biggest mistake that I see agents making is just that like their content isn't speaking to anyone in particular in general. So like it's getting no engagement and nobody really knows like what they're like, oh, she's an agent, but I don't really know what she's doing.
Yeah.
Because their content is just like so broad and
Right.
they haven't like established like clear messaging like business owners should, clear messaging like your ideal client, your content pillars, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like a lot of real estate agents aren't really too familiar with all that stuff, but like if you're in the online business space then you definitely are. But yeah, so it's just like getting clear on that and then using like content pillars to, like with the personal and business stuff to incorporate personal stuff and also educational and valuable stuff that is answering questions that your ideal client is having and
Yeah.
creating like a feed that your ideal client comes on your feed and is like, oh my gosh, I have to follow this page. It's like it was literally made for me.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing a lot of in Coffee and Contracts is like training everyone who signed up. We closed the doors and we did a training like on how to establish your ideal client, how to create a unique value proposition, and then like incorporating it in your like strategy. So yeah, sorry, I just kind of brain dumped there.
No, I love that because it's actually just like when you deal with I always say this, especially when I talk to like real estate agents, mortgage lenders, like anybody in the realm of like housing. I'm like, you're
Hmm.
dealing with such a big decision with someone that y'all have to mesh on a whole new level. This is not just another
Hmm.
business transaction. This is now you need to know this person in and out. And they also need to trust you that you're going to guide them in the right direction. They don't know this, especially if you're a first home buyer. There's tricks
Mhm.
and tips on how to do certain things that they need to know that you have their back on. And so like when you show
Mhm.
up online, you have to show up as the human being that you are and stop thinking as them as another dollar sign, but as like
Yeah.
family and recurring business, because the only way that you
Mhm.
build relationships really in real estate or any business is you want that recurring. That's where I take, you can ask anyone to leave a review, but I take the biggest compliment is if you continue to come back and use me for my service or the product that I have to offer, because I offered such a great experience for you. And so when it comes to real estate agents, I always say nobody cares. Well, and you can disagree with me, but you basically just agreed with me. Nobody cares how many houses you sold, all that crap. They want to get
Mhm.
to know who you are. Yes, they want to know that you're an
Mhm.
expert in that area and that how many houses you may have sold, but that's something that not every day. I don't want to know that you just listed 17 houses in a month or that you
Mhm.
made $5 million that week or whatever. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care. I want to know who you are. What has driven you to be this real estate agent? How did you have so much success? What are the experiences that you've dealt with? What are the failures that you've had, but how did you overcome that for a buyer or a seller? Like, tell me that
Mhm.
stuff that's going to help build that trust factor. And so, hearing you say those things like help solidify this, and like maybe it'll be something that kind of drills into them when they hear this
Mhm.
podcast, because it's just so important no matter what business
Yeah.
you're in is to get personal with people, because like we said earlier, business is personal at this
Mhm.
point.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think just there's just so many thoughts, especially with social media and people saying like,
Yeah.
I know people probably tell you the sense of like, well, nobody wants to hear me or see me, so why should I even
Mhm.
be like that? So like, what's your response when someone says that to you?
So I have a few things that I say. One of them is that they are the only thing that's unique about their business, and the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that people can't copy and paste
Yes.
is them.
Oh my
So, and it's
God, that
also
is like a
like,
big thing. I love that. Sorry,
yeah,
I get
and
so
they are,
excited.
you're like, yes,
Yes.
louder for the people in the back.
Yes, or the people in the
Um,
front because they may not have heard it
yeah,
either. I'm kidding. Go
all of
ahead.
them. Just write it down. But that is a big thing. And also like one thing that I always tell them, and I can take my own advices from this. But it's like, don't, it's all kind of goes back to when people like don't want to show up on camera and they don't want to like put themselves out there. It's the same like imposter syndrome, and their mind is having the
Yeah.
same thoughts and questions that I'm having. But I always say, like, think about your ideal client and just remember that you're just here to help them, and you're just here to provide value to them, and you're doing them a disservice by not making it easy to discover you and find you, because you could really
Yeah.
help them with your expertise. So trying to like reframe their mindset around that, and taking it away from like the pictures of them and what they look like and whatnot, and just providing value and like and being a resource for someone that needs their expertise and their help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I feel like that's a big thing. And also just like another thing that I talk about is just how like being a business owner in general, and especially a real estate agent, has changed over the years. And you used to be able to buy ads in the newspaper and buy or in like magazines and buy like bus stop, benches.
Benches. Yeah.
And so if you think that like being yourself and like finding people that are like you on social media is cringy, just think about how cringy putting yourself on a billboard is, just
Oh my God, I could literally come run and hug you. I literally, the thing that blows my mind, especially with social media. So let's just say this: if you don't hire a social media manager in general, or you're not running ads, social media is free. You used to pay
Mhm.
so much money to be on the radio, in a magazine, and print advertising, on a billboard, on a damn bus stop. Like, to me, I just feel like I literally had this conversation yesterday, and this, no offense to everybody else that gets billboards, whatever, or anybody that listens that actually owns a billboard company, cool. I don't ever think I would want my face on a billboard.
Yeah.
I just find
No,
that
me
that's way
neither.
more cringy than just being on social media. I don't know
Mhm.
why, because it's whatever. But like, I can't break through someone saying, like, I don't think social media works. I'm like, yes, it does. It's the new form of marketing. Yet you used to spend thousands of dollars on a billboard that
Mhm.
they're just guessing at the analytics if somebody might see it, or
Yeah.
print advertisement that's just going to get thrown away. And yes, it
Mhm.
worked back then. That worked. But now
'Cause
it's
that's where people's attention was, and
thank
now
you.
that's on their phones.
Now it's their phone and they are all going there. They're escaping everything. Like, there's so many people that I deal with that even like mortgage lenders or real estate agents are like, that's so boring. I'm like, it's not. I mean, I don't care if it's boring. You're educating someone. And like, the amount of
Mhm.
people that are actually learning from what you say and what they can learn from, and maybe it's a different loan type, or maybe it's a different policy, or maybe it's something different that they didn't know that they could do, that now you've geared it towards your actual consumer, and now they can actually hear you say it and it's free.
Mhm.
Like, you're not paying
Yeah.
for a radio ad or a TV
Mhm.
ad or like whatever that is. It's now social media. So it just,
Yeah,
obviously, I
yeah.
feel some type of way about that. Continue, please.
And, well, and the leads will be more, like, aligned and, trust you more from social media, which is free. You also don't have to pay to compete against Zillow and, all the brokerage websites, so that's, like, the difference between kinda like Google SEO and stuff is like if someone searches Tampa real estate, then obviously Zillow, Realtor.com, Remax, all those big companies are going to come up first. But if someone searches Tampa real estate on Instagram, then all individual agents are going to be showing up instead of like the big companies, and you don't have to
Yeah.
like pay to get in front of them. At least right now, hopefully it doesn't change. But so that's like another big thing that I say, and also like I used to buy leads from Zillow and I never close. Maybe it's just, I mean, I'm just not a good like salesperson when it comes to like being salesy. But like I used to pay like crazy money for Zillow leads and I never sold a single house from them. And like anytime that I was like working with them or showing houses, it was so uncomfortable just because like it was just so unnatural. Like they're confused. Like whenever you like call the number that you think is the agent and then another agent
Yes.
answers and it's like hello and asks you a million questions. So they're already just like, what is going on? So
Yes.
all that to say, like the people that reached out to me from Instagram were just like, hey, I don't even know like how I started following you on Instagram. Um, but there was one deal that I had where the guy he emailed me and was like, "Hey, I don't know how I followed you on Instagram, but I want to buy this townhouse. Can you like it's a new construction, which is like the best thing to happen to a real estate agent is for someone to say they want to buy new construction, especially like from like a builder, because then you take them to, in most cases, you take them to the builder and you're like, this is my client, here you go. And then you get paid when they close, but you don't have to do anything the whole rest of the time.
Yeah. Yes.
So I just showed him that one single house. It was like just from Instagram. So, but another thing that I want to add real quick is that a lot of times agents like, or you see all the time on social media, like social media gurus talking about making sales from Instagram and stuff. And I think for obviously for real estate agents, it's a lot slower. And it's like you're not gonna like it's so you have to be very patient. I feel like I was marketing on Instagram for so long without any results before I started like getting emails and leads and actually closing deals from it. It probably took like
Yeah.
a year and a half after I
Yeah.
started. So like I mean, people aren't just like buying and selling real estate every day. So it's not like you're just gonna have like your DMs blowing up with potential buyers. Like it's
Yeah.
a slow game. So I feel like it's important to figure out what type of content works for you, whether it's like posting a carousel post and like writing and having visuals or doing videos and doing reels and just staying consistent with it because it just takes time and you're not going to see like results overnight.
Oh my God. Thank
Um,
you for that.
yeah.
It's literally like everything I say on that microphone. Okay. I truly, it's that because it's really just increased brand awareness. If you just approach it with, like, I just want to give back and them to learn from me, and you become the advocate
Hmm.
that they go to, then you're going to sell houses. You're going to sell whatever the
Exactly.
case that you're doing in business. That's what it marketing has not changed. It's just how we do
Hmm.
it now, and what we utilize to get out our brand has changed. And
Yeah.
now it's more personable. where you have a platform where you can put a microphone in front of you, or you just take your handy dandy phone and you literally just start recording, and there you go. It doesn't have to be
Mhm.
perfect. It can be messy. Just get it out there and talk.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing is, like, it's almost like I kind of talked about this, but, like, it's also kinda like your portfolio in a way, like, for business and work in general. So, like, a lot of times, I sometimes wanna, like, tell real estate agents, like, "Hey, if you, like, did more videos
Yep.
and talked and shared your unique perspective and your stories, then you're going to have more opportunities open up to you in general. You're going to meet like more interesting people in the space." So like I don't know, sometimes I'm like, you're not going to get, asked to go on podcasts or like and be invited to things and stuff if like nobody knows that you're a person. Like I don't know, like
Right.
so that's just like like aside from real estate, like that's not the only benefit that's going to come out of it. It's also like such a great networking tool and like online portfolio of like who you are and what you've done and what your expertise is in, and that can open up so many doors for you.
Yeah.
That's a reminder that I'm trying to tell myself.
Yeah, especially if you want to build that personal brand, which you should be doing, honey. But I'm
I know
glad.
that's what I try to tell myself. I'm like, okay, Instagram is kind of like your portfolio in a way of like of here's who I am, here's what I know, you know, want to network with me.
Let's chat today. It almost sounds like a dating ad right there. Do you want to date?
I know, not good. It's
Wait,
also
go,
a
go.
great tool for dating.
It is, I didn't discover it that way, but whatever.
I haven't thought about that.
Wait, so two things. One, what um are the top platforms that you recommend your real estate agents be on?
Instagram, Facebook. I feel like it depends on like what type of content they're putting out there and they like. I would say sometimes real estate agents are like, I gotta be on everything. Like I say
Well,
Pinterest, like
no.
stop it with the Pinterest. Uh, I just like I think that for a like Pinterest just isn't for that. It's
No.
for I someone asked me that the other day and I said only like if you have like blog posts
Yeah.
about like your city and are like and it's like 10 things to do while visiting Nashville. That's what you look for on Pinterest. Nobody's looking for the real estate agent on Pinterest. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
Nope, it's okay.
But Instagram and Facebook definitely primarily. And then I would say YouTube and TikTok if they're good at video, and especially for local content. So like if they're like, doing YouTube videos on moving to the city and doing TikToks on the city. I feel like those are really good. And I also feel like TikTok and probably YouTube, like you can't just like post a video on YouTube that's like the steps to the home buying process,
Yeah.
because like that's so oversaturated and that like apply like what I can just Google that. And
Yeah.
no, I feel like you have to have like a really specific niche, especially like on TikTok. And it doesn't have to be like I don't know. I feel like it doesn't even have to be like a niche where you're like, okay, first time home buyers. Like it could be like, I talk specifically about like, I'm just like winging it, but like specifically like a niche topic where you're like, I talk a lot about like the saving process for buying a house. And something like that so that it's
Yeah.
not just like so broad that
Broad.
applies to
Yeah.
nobody. Yeah.
I so off topic right now, but I love that you say niche instead of niche.
Oh, I know. I know.
I know.
It's gotten a lot of controversy.
A lot of people say niche, a lot of people say niche. I'm just like that word, that narrowing down word. Whatever. Anyway,
Mhm.
irrelevant.
Yeah, I shouldn't even
Okay.
say it. I should just avoid it.
Sometimes I cringe when I say it, but I have actually found myself saying it a lot more, and I don't really know why.
There's no way around it. I don't know.
I don't think there is. Okay, what is your take on another damn platform? And I mean, I don't know. By the time this
Oh, you mean
podcast does come
Threads? I
out,
forgot about
yes.
Threads.
I actually did too. Okay, so the time this podcast comes out, I don't even know if it's gonna be gone by then, but like I think the hype was there in the beginning, but like I haven't clicked on it in a few days. Have you?
Yeah, I kind of forgot. I think it's just going to turn into like Twitter. Just kind of like how Instagram, maybe how Instagram Reels are to TikTok, it's going to be that to Twitter. So like Twitter, TikTok and Twitter, like both are unique in that like, or at least my algorithm, where I go to Twitter, like I don't even follow anyone I know. I follow like really funny accounts on there and TikTok. All I go to TikTok for is for like laughing.
Yeah.
And but I feel like Reels is like more like I don't know. It's like Threads and Reels are going to be a little more of like a professional version of Twitter and TikTok, kind of
Yeah.
in the same light that like Reels was to TikTok. And I think I think Twitter will still be there and it'll still have like its users that love it and have been there for years, just like
Mm-hmm.
TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And Threads is probably just going to be like, yeah, that's my take, I think.
I just
That's
love it.
my
Right,
take.
right now, I kind of like it because nobody's taking it like that serious. They're not like, "This is your marketing." Well, I mean, I think people are starting to say that, but like, people are saying like, "This is your marketing strategy and how to be successful on Threads." I'm just like, chill for a minute, like,
But
just
I think
chill.
it'll be more like I don't know, like it'll still have like the funniness, like there'll still be that, but I think there will be more like educational and like
Mm-hmm.
thought pieces to it. Um, but
I
it
just don't.
definitely has to be like original content.
I just don't know if my mental capacity could take another one. Truly.
I know, but I think it definitely like it's very personal. I like it because it really for people that are shy, it's an easy way to show a little bit of like your personality in a
Mm-hmm.
very simple way that's not video.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think that I think that like the times that people should post like educational type stuff on there is very rare.
Yeah.
Definitely no set like straight up selling. I don't think that would do well at all, and people would be really annoyed. But I think the only time that like any kind of like educational content should be shared there if it's kind of like a thought leadership thing and like something like a unique,
Yeah.
like your take on something rather than like here are 3 tips to customizing this Canva template. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like they can find that anywhere else. Wait, the other day, do you find yourself funny? Like, do you try to be
Yeah,
funny? Do you think you're funny?
I think I'm funny.
Okay. Okay, cool. I want to be funny. I don't know if I'm funny, but the other day I got on Threads. The other day, apparently it worked because, and then I got annoyed, but I got on Threads and I was just like, well, actually, it's not that funny now that I say it back, but whatever. I was just like, I went to this like walk around conference because one of my old clients invited me, whatever, backstory. And like I was supposed to go up to the booth and give them my card and introduce myself. And I was like, I absolutely hate selling. Like I suck at selling. So I literally went on Threads and was just like, gosh, I'm just not a salesperson. Like it really just gives me like sweaty armpits. I don't know. I said something stupid and I was like, any tips,
Hmm.
but not really like it's like I've never really had to sell. So, like and then
Yeah.
all of out of the woodworks, people were like, well, you need to identify this, 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 and this, and you need to learn this. And I'm like, that's not why I came here. I really just
Oh
wanted it to be
wow. You're like,
funny
I just wanted it to be like
funny,
just a
and I'm just
thought.
obviously not funny. So I think I could be funny sometimes, but then when I try to be funny, I'm just not funny. So I just thought I would ask you if
Yeah.
you're funny.
Well, I think I'm funny. Um,
Wait, I'm gonna make him cut this part of the podcast for the promo, and I'll be like, "So, do you think you're funny?"
that would be that's
That would
funny.
be funny because they'd be like, "What are they saying at the end of this podcast?" That's
Yeah,
funny, and it would be
that's
like,
funny. That's good.
"Oh my god, I'm funny."
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, whatever.
It's
Anyway,
proven right there.
okay, last question. I asked you this last time, so you're probably gonna like know the answer. Whatever. If you go back and tell younger Haley one thing, what would it be?
I don't remember what I said last
I
time.
don't either, so just hit me with it.
But
Give me the
what would I
goods.
tell her? Oh, I think I do remember.
Oh shit.
But
Okay, is it good?
I don't know. I feel like it has changed.
Okay, do it. Say it.
Um, mm,
You're like,
I
nah.
would say, um, I think it was about like people pleasing.
Okay.
Well, whatever. The answer is, I would say, don't be afraid to say no and to let people down or to like give someone an answer that you're scared is going to disappoint them.
Yeah.
You got to look out for yourself first because I really struggle with that, and like as a business owner, that sucks. I remember when I started the mastermind, I had like one question. It's so funny because I feel like sometimes my questions are like not everybody's like, what? like, like, I was like, how do you guys deal with like email inboxes? Like, it's like blowing up and I don't
Well,
know what
none
to
of
do.
us
They're
are
like,
like, I don't think my email's like your email, so I don't really know how I was supposed to respond to that. You must be
well, no, they were
very freaking popular.
No, they were like, no, not at all. But like, if someone asked like a question where I had to give like if someone asked a question like, "Do you want to partner on this?" or like something where in my head I was like, "No, not really." And then I was like, "Oh, they're not. That's not gonna feel good to them, or like they're not gonna like that." So I'm like, let me just wait. And so like then emails would stack up, then my anxiety, like stress would
Okay,
start to
now I
come up.
got it. You
So
should have
I'd be
made a
like,
video and asked the question
I
because I would
know,
have
I know, but
understood.
I was just like email management, and they were like hire someone, and I was like I have, but they can't do this part, which is the decision making.
I just think that you left the key
I left
component
out
out of it.
a key element, but I've gotten so much better at that. I'm so proud of myself. Like just so much better. My emails aren't just sitting there. I'm so much faster at
Oh my
responding
God, I'm so proud of
because I'm
you.
not letting them sit in there. I've gotten so much better. But so I would tell myself in the past, like, get over it. And then, yeah, just look at yourself. Sometimes I'll watch, like, this is aggressive, but have you ever seen Succession?
No. What?
Okay. Succession is like a business show. It's like it's about like the owner of like Fox News, but he's like this huge mean guy, like just mean guy, and he's like the dad, and he's in charge of this whole thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, I gotta be like him. Logan Roy is his name.
You're like,
I'm
I
like, I
gotta be
gotta.
him. Channel
I
my
know.
inner
I'm like, I
him.
need to add like just this much of like tough boss guy in there. So I've been working on it. But the other day, I like, I was so proud of myself because I had like 3 emails in a row where like they came in and I was like, no, no, and I was like,
Good for
but
you.
in a nice way, obviously. I think ChatGPT has helped a lot because I'm like,
You're like, how do I
you,
say no in a nice but firm way? Please spit that back
yes,
out to me.
yes, exactly. And sometimes quick tip, if you ever like are feeling, upset about an email or like you're feeling really like spicy and fiery at someone and you're like about to send them a really angry email, then you can just
Shut
put
up.
the email into ChatGPT and then say, make this nice. And it does it.
Shut up.
It's a life hack. I should start like just an app that's like
You
just
should
for
start an
angry
Instagram
emails.
that's just tips on how to use ChatGPT when
ChatGPT.
you're pissed off
Oh,
to make
that's
it
good.
nice.
Yeah.
Or if you're
You're
too
telling me.
nice, to make it ballsy.
Yeah, or how to use ChatGPT.
Or that
Yes,
in general. Just like, let's just do the
exactly.
general. Like, okay. And then that could be some subtopics for you.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Okay. Well, yay. Okay. I am so glad you came and did this again
Thank
because
you
I
for
feel like
having
it
me
was so
for
much
the
better
second
this time.
time.
I think the second time was better. Second time's the
Yeah.
charm,
Hmm. That's
We're
true.
not going
So
to do it
this time,
again. We're going to just let it
no,
download this
this is
time,
it.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys. If you want to follow Haley, give us the goods real quick.
um, at Coffee Contracts on Instagram and at Hey Ingram for soon to
Personal
be
brand.
maybe
And if you're
one
listening to
day.
this and she hasn't posted anything, go in her DMs and tell her I heard you on Damn Good Content Podcast, and I need you to start being personable because, like, even
Hmm.
your home gym, I just love like looking at it.
Really? I'm
Yes,
trying to make it better, so I'll
because we live in
share.
a fixer upper, so like my home gym is like wherever my weights fit, and so like right now it's like in the kitchen or on the front porch. So
Mm.
I told John, I was like, I want a full on like workout room when we're done.
Yeah, I highly recommend.
And then I'm gonna make you send me videos of yours because I want to just
Yeah,
mimic it.
yeah, I'm getting AC. It's in the garage, so I'm getting AC this week, hopefully, because it's been so hot. It's been
So hot.
horrible, horrible to work out in.
Okay. Well, everyone, that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Haley. If you like this episode, please leave a review, follow, subscribe, share it, tag us. We love you. And until the next time, let's freaking get it.